And keep that applause going as you welcome to the stage, Grace Jarvis!
Hello, how you doing? Are you well? Oh my goodness, so good to see. This dress doesn't have pockets. Women's clothes don't have pockets because when they do, we put rocks in them and walk into lakes. That's where I'm at. Don't worry, I'm not weird. Recently, I went along to a psychiatrist and he diagnosed me with autism. Immediately. Too quick. He was like, how'd you go making friends in school? And I was like, oh, and he was like, autism. I feel like everyone I know in the last few years has gone along to a psychiatrist, got diagnosed with ADHD, got put on speed. I go along, autism. Fucking nerd. No medication for this, it's all me. Now sit down, let me tell you about a very specific pen I enjoy. It's the Uniball Gel Impact. It's my favorite kind of, that's the most amount of eye contact I can manage in a set. I hit my threshold very early. Thanks for wooing, by the way. Sometimes I do, and I come out and I'm like, I'm autistic, and people go, aww. It's not terminal. I'm gonna be okay. I just eat a lot of plain pasta, I'm fine. I don't like flavor. It's weird getting diagnosed with autism as an adult because you sort of have to like look back at your life and realize that a lot of stuff makes a lot of sense now. Like I remember in primary school I was doing this project on Steve Irwin. You're familiar? And in the middle of me doing the project on Steve Irwin died. And I was really upset. Because I had to change the tense in my project. From is to was. I thought I'd finished my diorama, had to add a plasticine stingray death scene. Which is a sacrifice already because I'm autistic and plasticine feels like the seventh circle of hell. I'm glad that joke goes. I did it recently at a gig and there were just a bunch of Americans in and they all went desperately silent. I forgot that he's there, Princess Diana. It's weird because he's not really ours. They had a similar haircut, I suppose. Another thing about getting diagnosed as an adult is you sort of have to like come out to your friends and family as autistic. It's similar to coming out as queer. I did both at a family event where everyone was already crying. I was like, well, we're here. There are some differences though, like when you come out as queer, you don't point at your dad and tell him that he is also gay. When you come out as autistic, it's like, you and me together, bud. Let's go organize your fishing lures by color and attractiveness to fish. You can use a similar set of slang as well between the queer and the autistic communities. That's quite fun. You can be like, is he, you know, a friend of Sheldon? It's been pointed out to me that my understanding of queer slang is fairly old-fashioned, as am I, but I feel much more comfortable with like friend of Dorothy coming out of my big white moon face than I do with any of the more current queer slang that drag queens have stolen from black women. Like I don't say yas queen for the same reason that Cardi B doesn't say Geewiz. You know? We stay in our lanes. There are some social rules that I understand from like observing and learning and stuff, but there are some that I still do not get. Like, who told men to do that thing where they write the alphabet with their tongues? That person should be in jail with that bullshit Dolly Doctor advice. I feel like I'm on Sesame Street. I got dudes writing Anna Karenina on my clit. To prove they've read it. Also, as an additional PSA, you're supposed to do cursive letters. Just in case he's in. You know what happens when you do a block letter A? You miss the clit entirely. A lot of negative space in a capital letter. I have a new flatmate. I didn't anticipate how much I would want to impress her. Because my old flatmate, she was another comic. She knew me really well. This new girl doesn't know me. And she invited me to a club. I don't belong in a club. I have the energy of a girl who's about to lose her virginity in a barn. She's nervous. I have an anxiety disorder as well. Is anyone else panicking? Okay. Usually a couple people up the back where they belong. This guy's fully confident. I have an anxiety. I once had a 6-month panic attack about how I look like every woman Ted Bundy ever murdered. I'm brunette, middle part, bookish, she'd be all over me. But we went to this club because she had tickets to an act called Big Wet. Anyone familiar? I just walked through it outside. My socks have never been so damp. She has a very specific act. She had a very specific set list. She had a bunch of songs that she was like, I do not want to be misunderstood, you know? She had a song that was called Eat My Ass, comma, I want you to eat my ass. She was like, I'm not fucking around. The song that really stuck with me though from Big Wet, it was called Number One Pussy in the Club. That was the song. She was like, I got the number one pussy in the club. I got the number one pussy in the club. And this is indicative of the fact that I should not have been there. I lean over to my flatmate and I'm like, it implies there's been a ranking. Like there's a worst pussy in the club. And I want to hear her story. She's been through a lot. I've been Grace Jarvis. Thank you so much.
Give it up for Grace Jarvis!